I wanted to record. I wanted to record yesterday, and there was just no time. Yesterday it was a very full day. I just did not have time at all. I barely wolfed down food. I just had a very full day, but hopefully today will make up for it. I found a group to do plus 15s with, so we've got 7 of the dungeons done, and we're gonna try to do more today, because today's reset. It's Tuesday. It's the 1st, however you want to say that. I got that drop thing in Guild Wars 2 for the anniversary event, so I'll get presents or whatever. Yesterday I got the DLC. Right now the TCE exchange for crowns is like 250 to 1 crown and 250 gold per crown, and I got for 200 per crown. I got the collector's edition of the new DLC for Stonethorn. So I was happy about that. So I gotta do some shopping today and stuff, and then come home, and I do have to do a little bit of stuff, but I mean, hopefully today's gonna be more like fun and less like go, 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 go. So that'll be exciting. I wanted to record yesterday because there were things on my mind. I'm struggling to remember what they were today, so that sucks because today I can record. Tomorrow's trans group. I still haven't told a lot of people about getting into the trans system place. I figure once I start testosterone, I'll tell people. I was trying to give more time for, celebrating my sister's cancer being gone, and right now it's almost the guild's big birthday event, and, the expansion's coming out soon and stuff like that. I don't know, people are focused on a frenzy before the pre-patch, and I'm just sort of like, it doesn't feel like an appropriate time to add something else. I don't know. I have a friend who used to be there for me, like, a lot. Years ago, I had a lot of issues and struggles and stuff, but I was, third highest in this LGBT community, and nobody noticed my issues, like, at all. They all just were like, oh, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? I need this, like they were demanding because, they go to people of rank when they have needs. And nobody ever asked if I needed help or anything because I always tried to be there and supportive and helpful to people and stuff. Except for this one person. And she always noticed and messaged me and stuff, but somehow eventually my spouse and I, we ended up with our girlfriend, and we started getting a little happier and stuff with all of that, and we got ready to move, and we were able to be less involved in the LGBT plus group. And the girl who had noticed my distress before started to instead have her own relationship, and it was causing her distress. And the problem was, my relationship was going well, and her relationship was sort of well, but sort of, she kept having to compromise herself to please the other person, and she kept having to give up stuff for the other person, that she was getting frustrated by it, because on the one hand she genuinely cared. She's the kind of person who always genuinely cares, and on the other hand she kept getting taken advantage of. And eventually that relationship didn't work out, and eventually she moved on to another relationship, and so on and so forth, and it's been years. But basically, ever since that point, she had helped me so much. Of course, what I wanted to do was help her. But it's been years at this point, and it's still me helping her. For some reason, she keeps getting into the same relationship struggle over and over again. And I keep giving her the same advice over and over again. And I keep trying to be supportive in the same way over and over again. And it's like this cycle. She keeps getting so lonely that she can't wait anymore, and she wants to love someone, but she wants that someone to love her. But she keeps settling for people who aren't madly in love with her. They're just... Sorry for the train in the background, if you can hear the train going off. They're just, I care about you levels of love. They're not, I'm in love with you levels of love. And because it's not mutual degrees of affection, the relationship ends up not working, even though she tries and tries, and she gives up more and more of herself. And she's gotten into this habit of trying to compromise herself to get the other person to want to be in the relationship or whatever, instead of... it's like she doesn't see her own worth, because she is an excellent person. And I don't know how to help her, because she's in this, like, habit almost at this point. It's very sad. But I mean, on the other hand, I've always done that. Every relationship I've ever been in, I compromise pieces of myself, so I get it. When you care about someone, whether they care about you the same amount or not, you don't want to miss them. You don't want to be alone, so you're driven by both of these very negative things. And you compromise yourself. It's not compromising with another person. It's you compromising and them getting everything that they wanted. That's what compromising yourself is. And compromising yourself isn't good. I've been excited and nervous about transitioning fully to being male. I've been excited about all of the, obvious positive things and stuff. But there's this part of me that's nervous because I've lived so long as a female, or else as a non-binary, that I won't, step into the role completely. And part of me is relieved that I won't, because I'm not going to put up with bashing women or locker room talk or shit like that. Like, I'm proud of that. That's good. That's a good thing. On the other hand, it's like, I've seen guys before who transitioned and they pass hardcore, and they give themselves away as not passing through, like, mannerisms and stuff, and they get so hurt and frustrated about it. But they lived so much as a girl that it gives away. And I know my mannerisms aren't like that as much, but I've always had this fear of not being able to actually be male. And I don't know. Maybe it's because of the way I grew up. Maybe it's because of all of the freaking indoctrination all my life, or the, constant degradation from my family. But I genuinely have this tiny part of me that's afraid that I'll do all of this and I still won't be male. And realistically, I'm already considered to be male. I haven't done a single thing medically, and yet I'm already considered to be male by, my doctors. And yet it's like, I don't know. It's some strange insecurity. Yesterday, everyone in the guild chat was joking around about height differences and stuff, and I said something stupid because I'm insecure about my shortness. And then they wanted to know how tall I was, and I was like, I don't want to tell you. I'm short. I'm a short guy. So then they were guessing numbers like 5'11". The lowest number they guessed was 5'2". I was like, I'm not that short, thank goodness. But, they were mostly guessing like 5'7" and 5 things that were taller than me. And I didn't tell them how tall I am, but there's nothing that can be done to make me taller except wear shoes like that have thick soles. Like, that's it. There's no medical change for that. I worry, even after I get all the surgeries, even after the testosterone, is someone gonna, I don't know, be able to tell? Because of the way I behave, because I did get raised being forced into these roles that I could not stand, and I bucked against them, and no one understood why, so I just got punished for it. And I don't know. I was thinking about public restrooms, and I've never been someone who really uses them. I haven't used public restrooms in years. Like, I don't think I've used public restrooms since maybe fall of last year, but it was technically not really a public restroom. It was a place that my spouse did physical therapy, and we went there all the time, and they had family bathrooms, and I would always go in with my spouse when she needed to go potty. So it doesn't really count, I don't think, because, you're supposed to be taking care of other people and stuff like that there. So, or else at the gym. But again, at the gym, it was a very massive YMCA, and it had family restrooms, and we always used those because, again, my spouse can't, go to the bathroom in a public restroom by herself usually. So I have to help her, which is going to be, awkward and yet helpful at the same time, probably for the rest of my life, because I'm never going to have to do the whole, oh no, is it a girl's or a boy's bathroom? while I'm, dealing with transitioning and shit. I probably won't really have to deal with that because I can't go to a place that doesn't have a family restroom so that I can go to the bathroom with my spouse. If she needs help, she needs help. And the only time that's going to come up is if there isn't one. So we just kind of avoid places where there isn't one, or else we go to the bathroom before we leave. That's just common practice anyway. She has to go potty, before we go anywhere. It's like someday maybe it'll come up that she really needs to go to the bathroom. She really can't go by herself. There's really nothing but a girl or a boy bathroom. And I figure I'll just take her. I mean, she's obviously special needs and needs help. Hopefully it'll be fine. I mean, I'm her husband. But for the majority part, I'm not going to have to be like, oh no, which bathroom do I use? Where am I going to get the funny looks? Because I already get a look because they're like, why is a guy going in the bathroom with that girl? Oh wait, that girl has a cane and a stuffed animal and that girl needs help. Oh, okay, I understand. Because sometimes they are like, are you going in there to have sex? They give you that look and it's only for a second and then it dawns on them that they were being stupid. But for a second, they're like, oh no. And then they're like, wait, this doesn't look like horny teenagers or something. This looks like, a caretaker situation. But I've gotten that look before. It's kind of funny. So, but maybe it'll be more of a thing the more male I look, that I'm trying to help my spouse, and they'll be more suspicious because I'll look more manly or something, but whatever. I'm really struggling with my exercising to keep it consistent, which is annoying because I was making such good progress and I can feel myself sort of in this stagnation with it and I'm not making progress, and that's frustrating. I was so consistent before and now I'm just not doing it. I'm still trying to exercise almost every day. Like, I only take typically 1 or 2 days of rest in the week, and then the rest of the time I'm exercising. But I'm not always getting an hour of exercise, and that's bothering me. And the longer it goes that I'm not consistent, the more it's bothering me because I could feel the progression in my strength. I could feel my body shifting just slightly and changing. I could feel like this sense of movement. And it was slow and gradual, but I could feel it there, and it was a relief. And I need all the relief I can get, basically. Just need all the relief I can get. It's a little frustrating because I watch, these vids on like, hey, do this exercise or do that exercise and stuff, and I get inspired and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then there's not actually time to do that. And I know, especially for trans men, getting that exercise and feeling that spike of, testosterone helps a lot with dysphoria, and feeling like your body's changing and becoming more what you see in your head helps. And I don't feel like mine's changing right now at all, and that's not a good feeling because I don't look like this in my head. I haven't ever, even when I was a teenager. I've always known what I look like, and not looking like it is frustrating. Weirdly, I did not have a little leprechaun beard, but uh, when I start taking testosterone and I can, I don't know, grow less patchy, like the rest of it, all the hair on my face comes in really, really patchy. And this is the only solid part, so hopefully once I start taking testosterone, gets solid, gets, thick, and then I can have a much more groomed, accurate to my mental picture face. I just, I got a lot out of exercising. I really did. It was a routine thing that built me up a lot. And I don't just mean physically. I mean, it was it was like me time or whatever that I could consistently look forward to every day and think about, while I was counting, think about things and think about the future. And so it was like therapeutic or whatever, not just me exercising to get in shape or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I can hopefully at some point get back to that. People keep taking turns being sick, and I keep having days like yesterday where I'm just packing as much into it as I can. But starting today, hopefully that'll calm down just a little bit until pre-patch. And then once pre-patch hits, for everything's gonna go crazy. But whatevs, I'm expecting that. School has started up for the girlfriend, and our girlfriend is probably gonna have to start spending time at the school stuff. They're getting COVID testing twice a week. I can't afford the gas money, and I can't deal with how much it exhausts me. I don't have cruise control, so driving for hours, cramps up my body. And it's a little hard on me. Especially if I do it like one day and then I do it the next day again, or when I have had to drive like 14 hours in a day, 10 hours in a day, just straight. Yeah, I could only do that for like 3 days in a row, and then I was done. I just was like collapsed. Um, but that was moving across the country, so honestly, I almost didn't make it. I was having like breakdowns and shit on the last day pretty hard. I was so exhausted I could barely like handle how much pain I was in, because most of the time I can tune out the pain and I can dissociate from my body. But if I'm exhausted, it's a lot harder to do that. I'm sure that's true of everybody, that when you're tired, it's harder for you to do things. I mean, that's pretty human. I keep wondering if I really am possible to start the process before the appointment date. I think about it. I am still a little worried about losing my singing voice, but other than that, I'm just like, I just, all of me wants to do this except for like the 2% who worries all the time. You know, there's always that little tiny worry voice. What if I won't pass? Or what if something goes wrong? Or what if there's this horrible something? Or what if I'm somehow allergic to the syringe? I don't know. They're stupid things. Stupid things. What if I'm making it all up? That one comes up sometimes, and it's so ludicrous because A, it's been since I was a toddler. B, I'm so much happier every time I do anything that brings me even slightly toward more masculinity. Like, it makes me freaking happy. Like, C, I feel way more, like, secure about myself when I'm more masculine. And that, like, sense of security and stuff that I get from just, like, embracing myself. It's not even just, like, a safety thing of, oh, men are safer in the world or something like that, which isn't true in every situation. It's more of a being more sure of myself security, if that makes sense. But, like, D, I feel more attractive, which is, I don't know, a weird thing to think about for me because I don't really think about it a lot, but it's true. E, I look forward to freaking the possibility of being less depressed. I mean, being less dysphoric, being more of my life with less, like, mental stress. Like, that's, like, hard to imagine, but if there's the possibility, hey, let's go for it, you know. F, I mean, just, I can always, if I need to detransition, go back to being non-binary like I was. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not like it's this giant hammer that's slamming down on a nail that can never be uplifted. You know, it's not actually the biggest deal ever. If I don't like it as I'm starting into it, I could just stop. Like, it's not like it's, you have chosen this path and you must never retreat from this path, or else no other path will be open to you. So, there's still every once in a while little twinges of guilt about wanting to embrace my manhood. It's terrible to grow up with that much indoctrination, that much misogynistic, sexist crap. And I have grown up with a lot of it. Like, a lot. And I can understand and still feel a little bit of guilt. But I'm hoping that'll just keep me humble and will be a good thing. I'm trying to embrace that might stay with me my whole life. But being a man doesn't have to instantly make me a monster. I don't want to be a monster. So, there's no reason for me to be afraid of becoming one. I don't know. I just don't really listen to those little voices as much. It's not that they're not there, they're just not as loud and vehement. And it's weird when you can focus on other things. It's interesting to me. It's like everything falls into place. when you can focus on what you want, on what you're trying to get to, on what you desire, everything else starts to fall into place in your brain. And the path to that becomes more clear. Your life feels more clarity. You're on solid ground. You're just taking steps at that point. And it's like not always a peaceful walk, but you're just taking steps. Some steps are hard to take, but it's still just a step. And I'm kind of like to that point. I still struggle with looking at myself because I don't see what I should see, but that doesn't have to be true my whole lifetime, maybe. And maybe it's just like this ingrained habit at this point. I don't know. We'll find out when I start taking the testosterone. But I don't think life's supposed to be this hard. I think that we get used to life being this hard and we just sort of come to a place where we're like expecting it and we can't imagine it being less hard, so we just accept it, that this is it. Life's hard and you die. But I don't think it's supposed to be this hard. And at the moment, my life's not crazy hard. I mean, it was so much more significantly hard when I was younger than it's ever been in my adulthood. But even in my early 20s and my mid 20s, it was pretty hard. But I would say after I quit my corporate job where I worked 10 to 13-hour shifts and worked myself like crazy until I was sick and exhausted and I missed out on everything. And I realized I just didn't want to do that. I did not want to do that. Ever since I quit that and I went to being like, I only want to work a part-time job for the rest of my life. I don't want to be that stressed out all the time, even if it means living simply. And realizing that living simply works for me. It's quieter. It's less stressful. It's nice to have less clutter. Less clutter means less to clean, less to deal with, less to move, less to have to upkeep, less to pay insurances on, less to struggle with. And health concerns and stuff like that are stressful enough. You don't need inanimate objects adding to that stress, in my opinion. Some people like that. I don't. So my adulthood has gotten less stressful once I realized that and accepted that. And it got less stressful when I stopped trying to force myself to fit into as many boxes. And when I was like, screw it, my name is not my birth name. To everyone I met, everyone who was my friend, my parents are the only ones who refused to call me the name that everyone else has called me since forever. I have had an easier time of it since I went non-binary. I've had an easier time of it since I quietened my life. That doesn't mean my life's easy. I mean, taking care of another human being 24/7 is never going to be an easy thing. And then having another person on top of that who has, like, you know, severe anxiety disorder and all of that stuff isn't easy. Dealing with your own dysphoria and your own depression isn't easy. Like, health stuff isn't easy, and health stuff is part of my every single day. But bills are covered and food's in the belly, clothes are on the back, we're relatively safe, we have shelter. That's more than enough to have a foundation of less stress. I'm very povertous, but I'm not super poor. And I think that's important. I think that's significant. Two years, 3 years, 4 years down the road from now, my life's going to be very different than it is now. Our girlfriend's going to be at whatever job she's going to be at. We're probably all going to be living together permanently. And I will hopefully be either fully transitioned or almost there. And it's going to be different. Hopefully my spouse's health will have improved significantly enough to where I can actually go have that part-time job, and she can actually not need 24/7 care. And she could maybe start to explore things that she wants to do in her life. She's always, had a few dreams for herself, and I would be happy if she wanted to pursue those. Maybe we'll have some pets, or have started our little farm, at least have a garden, something. We'll have traveled, at least a little bit, which is a very exciting thing. My spouse has never left the country, never seen anything of the world. She's never even been to, like, Yellowstone. I wanted to go to Yellowstone when we moved here and spend a couple of days there and, go to a couple of national parks and stuff. But we just didn't have time, and we didn't really have the money to do that. And I took her to Wall Drug, and that was about it. And she really liked it. She liked Wall Drug a lot, but sometimes plans don't work out. But that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to see things. I mean, just in this country alone, there's almost every type of biome in the world. Just in the United States of America, we've got, coniferous forests, we've got rainforest, we've got, mountains and plains and deserts and tundra. And I mean, this country is extremely diverse just in things that you can see. I got us the fancy kind of driver's licenses so we could go to Canada. I was planning on taking the girls to Niagara this year. We can't because pandemic. So I thought, I'll take them up into Canada a couple of times. I really wanted to go take them to Niagara this summer. I thought that would be really cool. And, like something that they could keep with them for the rest of their lives, that we saw Niagara Falls, that we went there and all that. But no. So once we do have the ability, I don't want us to just stagnate. Once we do have the ability to travel, I would like to. I don't know, I've thought very long and hard about, is it worth the sheer volume of expense that a boat is to get like a sailboat and put some solar panels on it and sail along the coast or something. Well, the biggest problem with it, like number one problem with it, isn't actually we would have to save up a ton of money. It's, and I mean a ton of money, like a ton of money. Boats are expensive. The upkeep on them is expensive until they invest more into solar powered engines, which right now only a few types of yachts have that are way too expensive. Like I'm talking over $1 million. Um, you know, hopefully someday that'll be more popular of a thing to put in boats and more affordable and obtainable because gas is ridiculous for boats. But that's not actually the biggest problem. Biggest problem is my spouse is scared of water. So I can't even go for a cheap sailboat, a monohull. I would have to get a catamaran. And that's automatically way more expensive, so. But she could never handle the healing. I've thought, we'll just drive around. I could get like a little RV or something and we could just travel around like that. We were actually going to do that, my spouse and I, when we were getting ready to get married, but she got so Alzheimer's-y and so completely incapable of anything that they were like, don't travel with her when she's like this. That would break her. She already can barely remember anything about anything. She needs to be like in a stable home or space so that she can try to get her head back. If you want her health to improve, don't do that. So, but we were gonna do that. We were gonna. Obviously, we didn't have enough money to rent and have an RV, so we were gonna get an RV and just live in it for like a year or two and just travel the country so that she could see things. Because, she, being special needs, people just sort of like shove you in a basement, for her, literally in the basement, and just bring you food and don't expect you to want to have any kind of experiences or that you would even get anything out of that. Like, a lot of special needs people never get to experience anything cool. Or else, oh, look, we're going to take you to Disneyland for like the 7th time. And it's like, okay, but there's so much out there. And plus, Disneyland is so full of people. And the sheer volume of people can be scary, even before the pandemic. It's noisy and crowded and unstable as an environment. So she would have a hard time anyway. Whereas if we went and she was watching, like, animals, or we were just walking along a trail filled with like trees and flowers and stuff, or things that are more calm and quiet, peaceful, but a different experience. I genuinely believe all people should grow up with multiple experiences in different types of environment and exposed to multiple cultures. Being isolated with just one or two belief systems and one or two places your whole life is not good for you. It just stunts your mental growth and leaves you very close-minded to the world. But the world's not really a place where we can do that right now. So, whatever, that's for the future. But I do hope in the future we're doing that more. My spouse will be happier, I think, being able to do things, and also our health being better than it is now. It's already better than it was when we moved here, so that's something. I will be transitioned, or else almost transitioned. Our girlfriend will finally be independent and having her job, away from having to deal with the demands of her family as a non-stop thing, and hopefully life will be a little better. Who knows, maybe in a few years they'll have found a vaccine for the pandemic. Things like that will be calmer. Hopefully have a different president who's not constantly trying to, like, destroy every civil right under the sun. Maybe people will care more about each other. Who knows? Hopefully good things. I feel like everyone feels like an apocalypse is coming, like that the United States of America is probably going to break into a civil war, and maybe it will. Maybe, either Trump will lose and refuse to step down, and a bunch of people will congregate around him to support him, and there'll be a civil war, or there won't. I don't know. That's not up to me. That's up to other people to calm their butts. But, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully instead it'll be just a contented, happy little future. That'd be nice. I just want to get there. I want to get to that. I would like it if they called me and we started the process before the actual appointment, because I'm on the waiting list. I would like that. I want to get to that point. Once voting's done, I can start on my name change. That would be tremendous. Oh my gosh. Just that by itself. I might not be terrified of paperwork anymore. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be impressive? I would like that a lot. Like a lot. But yeah. I don't know, just a lot of thoughts in my head. I used to live in a way where I compromised myself all the time, constantly, and I'm trying to do that less. That doesn't mean I compromise less. It means I compromise myself less. And maybe in a few years, that won't even have to be a concern. To a certain degree. The codependent thing. Might have to deal with that for a while longer. Because habits, but still. It's something. It's definitely something I think about.